Hello. Educational inequality is currently an issue that plagues the educational system in the United States. Many children are deprived of sound and basic education simply because of where they live, and that is unacceptable. I myself was witness to this inequality in my own public schooling. I was raised in a neighborhood that was mainly composed of those from the lower middle class and minorities. Many of the schools in that area averaged low test scores and had trouble meeting the adequate yearly placement that was our AYP that was determined by the DeKalb County Board of Education. Because of this, my mom sent me to school in another neighborhood that would be considered higher middle class, that had schools that averaged high test scores, or excellent test scores even. Throughout my public schooling, I always noticed differences between my own school and the schools in my neighborhood. For instance, I was the only one who looked like me in my classes, in the gifted programs, and after-school clubs. I noticed that the schools in my neighborhood were not afforded the same opportunities as the school I went to was, such as new facilities being built when needed. They lacked advanced placement classes, and students who were well-equipped could not be tested or were not tested for higher level classes as often as people in my school were. In this speech, I hope to convey the serious problems in our public educational system in terms of education inequality. I also hope to explain policy changes that can be made to make an equal education attainable for all of America. To begin, children from lower socioeconomic backgrounds are not given the same educational opportunities as those from higher socioeconomic backgrounds. Ryan Kruger, in his report for 11 News, report shows inequality across Atlanta's school system, written in June 24, 2014, states that the quality of education that your child receives depends on where you live. This inequality can range from the teacher's experience to the playgrounds. He goes on to say that it is like the tale of two cities, or in this case, the tale of two school systems. Another source from the Washington Post, written by Emily Badge on May 23, 2014, says that public education may imply vastly different resources depending on where you live, or what your tax revenues look like. This means where you live has a direct correlation to the education or quality education that your child will receive, and that should not be the case. There are many statistics that reflect these findings, such as Olivia Blanchard's article, I Quit Teach for America, published in The Atlantic, published by Atlantic Media Company on September 23, 2013, found that fourth graders from lower socioeconomic backgrounds scored lower on math exams than fourth graders from higher socioeconomic backgrounds. A specific example from my community includes SAT scores. Schools that are more economically advantaged generally score higher than those that are not as economically advantaged, such as Chamblee High School, a school located in an economically advantaged neighborhood, has an average SAT score of 1502, while Elizabeth Andrews, a school that is located in an economically disadvantaged neighborhood, has an average SAT score of 944. Although these differences are drastic, they are not uncommon. Dr. Pedro Negura and Dr. John Jackson, two educationalists, propose that this is because resources are not being delegated to the schools that need them. They say, you cannot expect a child to pass a swim test when you knowingly relegate him to a pool that is drained. In this case, the pool would be the proper resources, proper teacher experience, etc. This was written by Pedro Negura and John H. Jackson in their article, Why Education Inequality Persists and How to Fix It, by the Shaw Foundation for Public Education, written in the Washington Post in 2015. This unjust public schooling system can be amended by putting an end to residential segregation and by evenly dispersing resources to the DeKalb County schools. What I mean by residential segregation is to make affordable housing available in all neighborhoods. John Powell, in his article, 6 Policies to Reduce Economic Inequality, written for the Huffington Post on the 10th of September in 2014, says that higher levels of racial residential segregation directly correlate to families not being able to move upward economically. This means that this will affect the parents' ability to provide for their children, and this affects education as well. I know this would have aided my mother, affordable housing, making it easier for her not to have to make sacrifice after sacrifice just to get me the education that I deserve and that every single child deserves, to get me in a good neighborhood. Secondly, DeKalb County needs to reevaluate their allocation of funds. By this I mean schools located in economically advantaged areas of DeKalb County receive more funding than schools located in economically disadvantaged areas of DeKalb County, which just doesn't make sense. For example, Lakeside High School, in an economically advantaged area of DeKalb County, has an annual budget of $9,920,010, while McNair High School, a high school in a slightly lower economically advantaged area of DeKalb County, has an annual income of $5,046,401. Now, the schools have very, very similar populations, so the difference of $4,873,609 doesn't quite add up. These statistics were found on DeKalb County School District's website in an article titled Approved Budget for DeKalb County Board of Education, July 1st, 2015 through June 30, 2016. And I accessed it on July 4th, 2015. If DeKalb economically diversifies its neighborhoods and spreads out funding evenly, every child of our community will have the same chance at the education they deserve. Imagine the effects that could occur if we were able to put these policies into place. A child from a household with an annual income of $35,000 will be able to have the same opportunities as a child who comes from a household with an annual income of $100,000. If these policies are not put into place, these children from lower socioeconomic backgrounds will be lost in our educational system, and that's truly a sad thing to happen. By economically diversifying neighborhoods and evenly allocating funds, the playing fields will finally be leveled, as they should have always been. So what can you do? You can vote. Vote for superintendents that have the interests of these children at heart. You can attend PTA meetings, Parent-Teacher Alliance meetings, and make yourself aware of the situations that are going on in your school. You can write to the DeKalb Board of Education and let them know your concerns. You can make yourself aware of everything that's going on, the statistics. You can go online and find test scores. You can find teacher retention rates, anything that can help make you more aware of the situation of our county. Lastly, you can extend a hand to those students that are being lost in the public school system of DeKalb County and let them know their intelligence is not going unnoticed. Thank you.